In this video, watch 3 prop traders present how they united to produce their most profitable breakout trade to date in Tesla. Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder of SMB Capital, and we're a proprietary trading firm located in Midtown Manhattan. And I'm also the author of the trading classic, One Good Trade, and the Playbook. In this video, 3 prop traders from our firm present their Tesla breakout trade in step-by-step detail and how they work together in real time to make more trading profits. Let's get to work on sharing these important trading lessons so you can grow your trading account.
Tesla on this day had a stock split news, and of course we had seen how Apple had reacted to the stock split news. This put us in the mindset of there's likely going to be a positive reaction from retail traders because of this news.
But I think just to jump in right here, you guys presented a breakout trade previously in Tesla. We talked about getting better the next time you actually see another breakout trade in a high beta name. It happened to actually be in Tesla again. But the work you did to do your playbook, the work you did to consider how to trade bigger, we talked about in that last video. And then this is, did you guys improve? This is, did you guys trade a little bit bigger? This is, did you trade with a little bit more confidence? This is, well, how'd you do the next time? So in that context, how'd you guys do?
We did really well. I think that goes for all 3 traders here that took the trade. I think we all sized up and pushed each other in sizing up this trade because we had seen this trade pan out in front of our eyes just 2 days prior. So seeing that the tape was similar to what you're going to be seeing today, seeing that the confirmation of the chart pattern, the market setup, and the theme, the overall environment, something Dr. Steenbob talks about a lot is, the theme of the EV sector being hot. That was still valid. Everything from the playbook from 2 days prior was very much in play on this day. And no doubt we each probably got even a little bit too big for our stop. And obviously it paid off well because, again, we had that tape confirmation, we had that chart confirmation, and we knew it was time to put on the risk for this trade as it was panning out in front of us.
All right, let's see it.
So just going back to the big picture fundamentals, Tesla had run up 40% in the last 5 days after announcing that 5-to-1 stock split, and it was now basing above the previous all-time high for the last 2 days. So we had investors chase the stock price up, broke all-time highs, now basing. On this particular morning in the pre-market, Tesla only was doing about 1.5% of its average daily volume, and it opened only with 5 ARVOL. And by 10 a.m., the ARVOL was only 1. So this was pretty weak volume numbers on the open, which meant that unlike last time, this time on the breakout, we really needed to see some outstanding volume. Otherwise, it was a no trade. So big picture fundamentals, SPY, very big uptrend for the last 5 months, holding above the 200-day moving average and yearly VWAP. It actually had taken a new all-time high the prior day. So we're in a bull market, and in general, breakouts have been working. Same story for NASDAQ, very strong uptrend since March, and the daily RSI is not yet overbought, and so we're still looking at breakouts. NASDAQ, it has a lot of relative strength to SPY, so we're favoring tech stock breakouts over anything else. That just adds a lot of, helped us add a lot of conviction to the setup.
Yeah, and Armand, friendly reminder, when you say RSI is not overbought, can you define that?
Yeah, so we define RSI overbought as being above 70. Today, the daily RSI was 63. And so typically what you see in bull markets is this RSI will oscillate between about 50 and 70. And that just means that the market is grinding higher without necessarily being extremely overbought. Whereas if it had gone above 70 or even 80, that would be indicative of a very fast up move that would trigger overbought. And in that situation, we would more likely to be looking for a top in the market because it would be because of how overbought it would be. So Tesla had run up 40% since announcing the stock split news. It had been consolidating for 2 days above the prior all-time high, and so we thought that this consolidation could, either break up or down. And if it were to break to the upside, we definitely wanted to be involved in the breakout because, with it being at all-time highs, we could have gotten a lot of follow-through from that breakout.
What's the significance to you guys of this being above its all-time high?
Spending 2 days above all-time high is generally indicative of potential continuation. For something to go to all-time high, sometimes you won't get people chasing above all-time high immediately, and especially when you get an inside bar on the daily. What that shows you is we had a big move 2 days prior, and that needs time to digest. And for a stock to digest a move, and generally stocks will like to digest moves that are above 1 ATR. So once you make a move about 1 ATR, we expect the stock to digest the move. And so a 2-day digestion of that run up on Tesla was incredibly bullish, because that tells us that there's no sellers up here. They're proving to be holding it up here. They're still supporting the breakout area, and that tells us it's not getting rejected. So as soon as we start making new highs, it's so logical to be long.
And Nano, by ATR you mean what? If you want to learn 3 real-world setups that our traders use, including the simple setup that we teach all of our new traders, and the setup that turned one of our traders into a 7-figure big money earner, check out the free webinar that we're currently running. Just go ahead and click the link that should be appearing right now at the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's going to open up this free registration page in the new window, so don't worry, you're not going to lose this video. You're going to learn more in a couple of hours from this trading workshop than from years of online education.
The average true range of the stock, and for Tesla, that's obviously right around 100 points, and obviously ATR changes based off the stock's past. At S&P, I think we use the past 20 days to determine ATR, the average true range of the stock, that it moves on an intraday basis. And it's good to use ATR as a generic way of targeting direction. I'm sorry, not direction, sorry, but targeting potential extremes of the stock's range on an intraday basis.
So how much the stock moves intraday on average?
Yes.
ATR. Got it.
So over the last month, you can see here's actually a 30-day chart, or rather over the last week, you can see that Tesla has been consolidating pretty tightly and holding at its highs after making a big run up a few days prior. And so we were really on this day and the day before as well looking for this consolidation to break either way. We were getting involved a little bit on the short side when it would try to break the prior day's range, and then when it would get back to the top of the range, we would try long. So we were really looking for range expansion either direction, and you can just see that the tighter it got, it seemed more and more likely that we were going to get a high volume break one way or another.
And Armand, the purple line denotes what?
That's a 21 moving average on the 30-minute, and so you can see that it was holding that on the first day of the consolidation, but it broke that, and that's just indicative to us that we've begun to consolidate.
And you use that as momentum indicator?
Yeah, on the medium time frame on the 30-minute.
Okay, great.
Here you can see what happened on the open. So on the open, we spiked up, pretty low volume, like I mentioned before, and we began to consolidate below the upper boundary of that consolidation. And so this is when we got interested in looking for the breakout. This is where we told ourselves we really want to see a high volume break of this consolidation to get long.
From a technical standpoint, why is elevated volume important for you when you're thinking about making a trade in Tesla?
Elevated volume is important because in order for this consolidation to break out for real, we need to see elevated volume. Otherwise, if let's say that we saw that breaking bar with no volume, we could just be still inside the consolidation, and the breakout is probably more likely a fake out, and if anything, a short signal. But but volume indicates that there's real buyers behind this move, and it dramatically increases the likelihood that the move is going to actually follow through. So that gives us the confidence to put a stop below the breaking bar and hold on to the position for a pretty substantial move.
And without that elevated ARVOL, fair to say you're not taking this technical trade?
Yeah, exactly. And if there's no ARVOL in the stock and no ARVOL in the breakout, it's definitely a no trade.
Oh, so you said something different. So when you guys talk about ARVOL, for the newer guys out there, what do you mean by that?
The relative volume, this morning, Tesla's relative volume was very low. Like it opened at 5 and it came down all the way to 1. I think during that consolidation you see there, the ARVOL even dipped below 1. So that was, if anything, kind of concerning for the breakout. But then the tape really changed when the breakout occurred, and ARVOL started picking up very quickly. I think it quickly got back above 1 and then got to 1.2 or 1.3, and you could see on the tape and then also on the low time frame chart, like on the 1 minute chart, the volume bar started to get very big. You can see on that 15-minute chart, the 15-minute volume becomes as big as the open, and so that was just very significant.
Yeah, so relative volume, we're comparing the volume that it actually is done at this time of the day via the past. And so when ARVOL is high, it's indicating that there are more participants interested and there's more big buyers interested or sellers. And that's an indicator. ARVOL, a high ARVOL, tells us the stock, confirms the stock is in play. With a higher ARVOL and a breakout, confirms the stock is more likely to break out and continue.
So here's the tape on the breakout. Max, if you want to jump in and discuss what we're seeing there.
So essentially what we saw was that once it broke through the prior afternoon's resistance levels, so for us that was near 1910 to like 1913, we saw that the stock just absolutely pushed through. There was no resistance. The tapes sped up, the volume sped up, and it's a clear breakout. And just kind of understanding what the bigger picture thought was that this just spent a few days consolidating, and shorts are probably going to be versus that level. If we just broke through that level and then are basically going right towards all-time highs, especially with the volume explosion, that's serving as confirmation that we are probably right in the bigger picture trade, right? So then as far as kind of the trade management goes, because like now this turned into a momentum trade, realistically, at least for the first part of the move, this shouldn't be breaking the prior 1 minute lows, because it's basically now a new trend that should bring in a steady flow of buyers. So for managing some of the risk, once the first 1 minute low is violated, we can lock in some profits, so that way the risk is managed, and then from that point we can just kind of trail that versus the more meaningful stops. But really just seeing how the tape looked so different through that 1910 level on this day, whereas on prior days, like, you can really see how much the stock struggled between 1910 and 1915, showing in those days that the seller was there, and that in this day the seller was not there.
Yeah, and also it may indicate, Max, that the buyers are extra aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. So, just kind of, of thinking through the psychology of who the buyers are, and most likely, like these are probably going to be at first shorts that are probably seeing that it's breaking out and that they have to cover, and there was definitely a certain sense of urgency as the stock was breaking out and going towards these levels.
Yeah, so when you see a stock blow through levels, skip prices, move more than you thought, then that can indicate it's more likely to follow through.
Exactly.
All right, great.
So as far as the exit goes, we're looking to hold on to this for a bigger picture target of 2,000. Since it was all-time highs, we felt a lot more comfortable than last time holding on to a larger core.
And Armand, where'd you come up with your target from?
We used just the psychological level of 2,000. Normally we would use the next daily level, but since it was all-time highs, 2,000 kind of lined up with about an ATR move from the breakout level. Typically with Tesla on all-time highs, it likes to respect those psychological levels. For example, I think 1,500 was used as a big level. Same with 1,000 in the run-up before March. So 2,000 kind of fit with the psychology plus it being very close to an ATR move. So we tried to hold on to as much size as possible for that initial push. Once we saw it stall at 1950.
So I want to talk about this. So you guys were trading this together, meaning you were talking to each other during the trade?
Yeah, we were all on the phone together during the consolidation before 11 a.m. and then we all entered the trade together on the breakout.
Was it helpful and easier to hold because you guys were communicating with each other?
Yeah, absolutely. We were on the phone, and I think we were all trying to push each other to hold on to the trade a little bit longer because we knew that there was a very good chance that this would close at high of day. But at the same time, I think I speak for myself and Nano, at least we were the biggest that we'd ever been in Tesla. So, it was uncomfortable to hold for a long time. I think Max was as well. So, it definitely was helpful having the three of us push each other to hold on for as long as possible.
I'll also just say that, just like one thing that, especially working with Nano and Armand, is that like they know that one of my goals is to try and hold trades for longer and just try and think, on a bigger time frame. So by speaking with them, it ends up like helping me to not close out the trade too soon because I'm just like naturally more geared towards taking profits quickly and just locking in cash flow. So being able to speak with them through the trade allowed me to kind of see just kind of like what was like going on in the bigger time frame and just kind of keep one of my monthly goals in mind.
Something I'll also toss in is that having Max on the phone for us is very useful because basically he helps us with pushing our size and momentum. So I think what's useful about from Max's perspective, from us is to help him hold size. But for us, what helps us having Max in there is him pushing us and identifying where those bids really started stepping up on Tesla and became significant to where we knew that if we had put on risk in that moment, that there was a good chance we weren't going to see a lot of MAE. And it would have been valid to risk off those tape signals. And with hearing Max's conviction with the tape and seeing that ourselves too, there's we work off each other's strengths, which is something really unique at SMB. Is we have people who are really talented in their own ways, and Max's talent in tape is very evident. And me and Armand's hard work and bigger picture trades, that combination can definitely be lethal to the market. We will definitely take a lot of P&L out of this market working together.
And Nano MAE stands for?
Max against equity. Basically, what we're calculating there is how much against our equity how much the stock is gonna go against us at any given position. So obviously, we like to calculate risk based off how much we will allow the stock to draw down, go against our equity. Prior to being in the money and being comfortable. And again, those tape signals will allows you to have a very tiny MAE, which in turn allows you to get much bigger. Even though I have a certain daily stop, I can outsize my position. With tape signals, to allow myself to not draw down.
That's interesting. It's interesting that Max is pushing you guys to trade bigger, but yet you guys are pushing Max to hold longer. Really good example of the different strengths of all of you being used as a team to all do better.
So just finishing up with the exit, as Tesla got closer to 2,000, it seemed that it was getting more and more resistance. So every time that it seemed like it was turning a little bit early, we took a little bit more off. And then by the time it actually hit 2000, we weren't actually in very much size anymore. We'd gotten out most at like 1980, 1990. And then it actually pierced 2000 and then sold off kind of violently for 30 or 40 points. We wanted to wait for a lower high to get out of the remaining size, so we waited for what we thought looked like a lower high to get out in full. But of course, with it being Tesla, it just broke right higher like 30 minutes later. And so that was it for the breakout position. We actually all entered a new position on the close for some after hours follow through, and that was just a different setup.
There's a couple of potential catalysts over the next couple of days coming up in this stock that I guess you guys will be talking about. How's the stock going to react before the stock split, and then how is it going to react after the stock split?
Yep, absolutely. I think for the last week we've been trying to come up with a game plan of the trade that we want to put on the stock split or after the stock split. So we'll see. A lot of people think that there's going to be sell the news effect. Others think that it's going to keep on rallying. So we'll see what happens then.
All right, great. And this is something obviously you guys can use for different names, different stocks, and try and be a little bit bigger next time.
Yep, absolutely. The tech breakouts have been working well over the last month or two. And so as they continue to work, we'll look to keep trading them bigger and bigger.
Hey, go ahead and click our subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that we're producing for you in the trading community. And please take the time to add your feedback in the comment section for what videos you'd like for us to produce next and what you found helpful from this video. From all of us at S&B, train and trade well.